Hey everybody, it's Cobra DVS here, and I'm gonna actually participate in a tag. Shit, I don't remember the last tag I did. Um, I don't, I don't remember. I was tagged by a television dude a couple months ago, or about a month ago, for the top 5 PS2 games, which I believe was Waspray's tag. But I never grew up with a PS2, so I feel like I'm not very well qualified. But this one I am qualified for, and it's MaximumRDs. Pick your favorite James Bond video game. And I know as soon as I saw this video, I knew what my response was. I mean, I think everybody immediately thought of one game that they wanted to do as their response. I mean, it's a classic among retro gamers, and I mean, I think everybody was thinking the same game, and that game is my choice. The game is Super James Pond on the. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Pond? Damn it. It's not Bond. It's Super James Pond. Well, shit, that doesn't count then, I guess. Stupid game. I guess I'll go with my second choice. Another classic, I guess, if you're into shitty games. 007 GoldenEye. I guess I'll pick that. Oh, wait, you can't pick GoldenEye either? You can't pick the GoldenEye on the 64? You can't pick that one either? Oh! Maybe I shouldn't have participated, man. Maybe I shouldn't have. Jesus. My two favorite games of all time, right there. Anyway, I'm just messing around here. Hopefully that got a laugh. I don't really know how that one's gonna pan out, but but we'll see. So anyway, no, the rules are, you have to pick a James Bond game, and the catch is that you cannot pick James Bond, uh, 007 GoldenEye on the 64, because instantly, basically everybody thinks of that, and um, that would probably take up majority of the responses. So I think that was a good move taking that out. So, but even though that's not even my favorite James Bond game, as soon as he said that, it didn't really bother me because my choice I had already picked out, and this is not only one of my favorite. It is my favorite James Bond game, but it's also one of my favorite games and one of the games I've had the most fun with, and that is 007 Nightfire. Now, Nightfire is interesting, and I just got a Facebook IM message, and we'll see who that's from. I'll be right back, because I'm curious now. I can't finish this video until I know who just IM'd me on Facebook. 1 second. Oh, sure, I'm glad I wasted my time seeing who it was. It was this fat-ass kid that nobody likes.
They doing the mess around. Everybody doing the mess around.
Well, anyway, back to the tag. 007 Nightfire. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Um, excuse me. Not only, damn, not only because, you know, there's so many things in this game that are just so fun that make it my favorite James Bond game. Um, my cousin used to have this game on the GameCube, by the way. I've never played any other version, but I imagine they're basically all the same. And my cousin used to have this, and we'd all go over there. You can play 4-player split screen, and it is just a blast. It is so fun. It's one of the best things ever. You can drive helicopters. You can like little remote control helicopters, tanks. You got these rockets that you can control where the rocket goes. It's just so fun. 007 Nightfire. I just hit myself in the face with it. That's how good it is. 007 Nightfire, and yeah, so that's my pick. And just to elaborate a little more, the single-player campaign is pretty lengthy to a degree. It is sort of in the medium, quite a few hours of gameplay. But I think there's only about like 10 missions. There's only like 10 missions, but they take a while to beat, and each mission is almost like there's different sub-missions in each mission. So it almost feels like, even though there are 10 missions, it feels almost like 30 sometimes. and they're all different. There's one where you're driving, the Vanquish on, an icy lake, and then there's another one where you're in the jungle driving jeeps around, and then there's one where you're at a snowy castle. The first level is that snowy castle level. I think one thing that Nightfire does really well is this stealth aspect. Now, this Nintendo 64 version, yeah, it had its the GoldenEye in the 64 had stealth in it, but I think it's mastered much better in Nightfire. And another thing, Nightfire is not even a movie. It's just a game. There was no movie Nightfire. But it doesn't matter because it's got a Bond girl. Of course, Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. He was the James Bond I grew up liking, so he's one of my favorites. Although Daniel Craig is really good, and I never got into the older James Bond movies with Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and all those guys. Maybe I should one day, but as of right now, I'll just stick to my guns with these two guys. But that's Nightfire. Great multiplayer. You can also play multiplayer against the computer, so it's just fantastic. Great single player, and I think one of the things with the single player that catches my eye, or that really drew me in, along with it being stealthy, is also the fact that a lot of the time, in fact, most of the time, it's just you. And it's like that in a lot of James Bond games, where it's just you. There's no team with you. It is you alone, fighting your way through the level with the missions, and I like that. That's one of my favorite things. I like games today. I do like some of them. Like Halo is one of my favorite franchises. But one thing that today's games do that I don't like is the whole team aspect in the campaigns and the single players. It's single player for a reason. If I wanted to play with other people, I would play as online or whatever. But the feeling you get when it's like you, a ton of enemies, and your goal, and you defeat it, it's a lot more satisfactory, especially because the computers are usually turds anyway. They don't do anything. They just shoot up at the sky, and they don't do what they're supposed to. And the satisfaction level is really high when you beat it. It gives you a feeling of badassery, almost, if you know what I mean. Imagine Doom if there were you, the Space Marine, and then 4 other guys. It just wouldn't be the same, and it's also sort of a little more intense. That's why I love me some Doom, and I think that's one of the things that attracted me with Halo at first. With the first one, the third one is the one I played first, and you're Master Chief a lot of the time. But this game is like that the whole way through, as far as I remember. The Bond girl's with you sometimes, but it's mostly you being stealthy, and that's what I like. So that's my pick, 007 Nightfire. Check it out. I'm sure it's a dirt cheap game. It's definitely worth the minuscule amount of money you'll pay for it. But before I go, of course, these two choices, they were jokes. Obviously, this is a great game. This is just mediocre. James Pond. I don't know what the hell they were thinking there. But another game I kind of want to give a shout out to, and Rob even mentioned it in his video, is 007 GoldenEye on the Wii. Now, this, I think, came out, I believe it was last year, and this, even though a lot of people think it's a remake of this game, that's not what this is. This is not a remake of GoldenEye 007, it's actually just a retelling of the movie. It has nothing to do with the 64 game, it has to do with the movie. It is different, but it's got the fun multiplayer, the great single player, and it's definitely worth checking out. And Rob even mentioned in the video getting that gold classic controller. The version I got comes with it. It is pretty cool. Maybe one day it'll be one of those collector items. We'll see, but this is definitely a good game to check out. I do prefer playing it with the classic controller. So that's it. And before I go, one more thing about GoldenEye Nightfire, 007 Nightfire, and why I like it more than GoldenEye is because the controls. The controls are spot on with this. To play first-person shooters, for me, you need two preferably analog sticks. One to move forward, backward, strafe, and then one to look up, look down, left, and right. And though the Nintendo 64 controller has that with C, the C area, the C buttons, it's not the same as with the GameCube where you have the actual joystick and then the C stick, where you can use them at the same time to control your character with all. There's different control schemes, but that's my favorite. So that's my choice. 007 Nightfire, and this is an open tag. So anybody who wants to participate, go ahead and shoot MaximumRD a video response, and yeah, have fun with it. It's a great tag. I like the idea, and everybody, thanks for watching. A classic among retro gamers, and I think everybody was thinking the same game, and that game is my choice. The game is Super James Pond on the. Wait a minute. Pond. Damn it. It's not Bond. It's Super James Pond. Well, shit. That doesn't count then, I guess. Stupid game. I guess I'll go with my second choice. Another classic, I guess. Dude, a couple months ago, or about a month ago, for the top 5 PS2 games, which I believe was Waspray's tag. But I never grew up with a PS2, so I feel like I'm not very well qualified. But this one I am qualified for, and it's MaximumRDs. Pick your favorite James Bond video game. And I know as soon as I saw this video, I knew what my response was. I think everybody immediately thought of one game that they wanted to do as their response. Hey everybody, it's Cobra DVS here, and I'm gonna actually participate in a tag. Shit, I don't remember the last tag I did. I don't remember. I was tagged by Intellivision